Yes? Okay. You are?
Mary Ellen Tarangelo. I ride the 10X or the 12X. You mentioned something about larger buses. And if we do get this $2 fare and we get this great influx of people now riding the buses, a bus that has a capacity to seat 1/3 more people will barely take care of the people who are standing. I stand just about every morning and a couple of times at night. Are we going to have more bus routes? Are we going to have more buses, or what is proposed there?
That's a very good question. Let me tell you what's happening right now in the borough of Queens, in the borough of Brooklyn, and in the borough of the Bronx. The Transit Authority, as I said before, is spending $160 million starting July 1 of 1997 because they're eliminating two-fare zones in those boroughs. They're going to do it here too, but just for local service. And as a result, they anticipate the need for more bus drivers, more buses, and they're buying them. They're hiring an extra 8 bus drivers a week as we speak for those other boroughs to cover that service. So I think the answer is that the Transit Authority thus far has left us out of this plan. Staten Island's not included. If they in fact include us in this plan, they will have to then, and that'll be something we're going to have to work together on as a coalition, riders and workers out here, is to try and get the Transit Authority to dedicate its resources here. And just one important point on this subject. The Transit Authority spends 2% of its operating budget on Staten Island, and we have 5% of the population. So there's a basic fairness question because we do not have a subway. They invest almost none of their building money, their capital money in Staten Island. So it's a matter of Staten Islanders standing up with our elected officials to get our fair share.
Okay. Ron?
I took time to come out of my busy schedule tonight. It was a rough commute home, and basically, I'm actually sick and tired of it. It costs me $160 a month, just as it does every single person in this room. If you multiply 160 times 12, it's roughly $1,800. Counted by every single person in this room, like I said again, it's an awful lot of money. I personally don't make a lot of money, so it puts a big hole in my wallet every month, and at the end of the year I feel it. It's just frustrating to see other people who are a lot more successful. Those are the people pocketing the money, and the people lower on the totem pole are the people who suffer, and happen to be one of the people who do suffer. So hoping to see a change, and I really hope that this campaign can do that for me.
Stay there 1 second. How long does it take you to get to work?
It takes me an hour and a half. That's on a good day, an hour and a half. And an hour and a half on a good day, it's not fun. In the morning, I have to get up extra early, and I'm a young guy. I don't want to come home, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. So hopefully this campaign will change that.
Okay, we got an hour and a half. Who can top an hour and a half? 2 hours.
I can.
Go ahead.
All right. My name is Margaret Gannon. My question is this. They were talking about paving a road in the center there for the extra lane for the express bus. How much is it going to cost us as riders? Is the money going to be coming out of our pockets when we take the express ride, or is it going to be coming out of the government or the TA?
Well,
Okay,
I can
that's a
give you
good
I'll give you a partial answer, and then I'd like to ask John to fill in some of the blanks. What's happened in the last couple of years in government is that money has been shifted away from mass transit to highways, and they're spending a lot more money building highways, mostly upstate at this point. But John, would you want to talk about that at all, about the highway construction issue?
Sure. There's a lot of money in this region for roadway work, and basically I think it's part of the campaign is going to have to be to leverage some of that money. And it's not the Transit Authority that's going to build the lane, it's the New York State Department of Transportation. And they're in fact engaged right now in a study about what to do about the Staten Island Expressway corridor. And I think that study needs to sort of come into the orbit of this campaign so that we're looking at the different policy alternatives that the state DOT is looking at, so that folks, and there are formal mechanisms for public participation in that. It's not very well known a lot of times, but I think if you have a good bus rider organization and a labor union that can help organize and staff that, we have a really good chance of getting in on the ground level with those kind of policy debates and saying, this is what we need to do with that roadway. We don't want to have one person sitting in each car backed up all the way across the island. We want to get it to work, and we don't want to burn out.
On the screen right now, we were just showing, this is the bus lane at the Lincoln Tunnel, and you can see the traffic on the right is almost at a standstill, and the buses are just moving right by. And this is exactly the kind of lane that we are proposing to move buses between Staten Island and Manhattan through Brooklyn, and you know, it's interesting to note that our buses, the X31 now and the X17 in September that run through New Jersey, arrive in Midtown 30 to 45 minutes faster than if they had to travel through Brooklyn, and that's simply because of that bus lane.
That lane moves it moves more people per hour than any lane of roadway in the country. That lane through the Lincoln Tunnel.
That one bus lane.
Yeah, and that's why the Transit Authority is starting to run some of its buses up on the Jersey side now, because they can use that, and they're not going to sit on the Gowanus side.
Right. we have a whole bunch of calls. I'd just like to try and get some of the folks who are at home on the air. Let's see. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi. Let me turn off the sound on my TV.
Yeah, please do.
My point is, I live in Staten Island, and I'm paying that $4 each way. I happen to be fortunate in that I'm close to the bridge, and the buses are very timely. The service is excellent. But when you consider the distance that I travel, it is about 10 miles. I work with people who travel 40 and 50 miles from other states, from deep on Long Island, and they're paying at a rate per mile much, much lower than I am paying. Mm-hmm. I just think that's grossly unfair.
Okay, that's right. We agree. Thanks for the call.
Right, bye.
That's a very interesting point. It's much quicker in some cases to get from the Poconos or from Philadelphia to Midtown Manhattan than it is from Staten Island. We have a few more calls here. Let's take a couple of these. Hi, you're on the air.
Yes, hi. I wanted to know, when is this $2 fare going to kick in?
Tomorrow morning, we're all going to refuse to pay $4. Actually, what happens first is that the Transit Authority has already geared itself up for next July 1st to eliminate half the fare for most of the people who pay two-fare zones in the city. There's a whole process that goes on between now and December with the MTA board, and if we can get the mayor and the governor to support this, and they can tell their people, they appoint the entire MTA board, if they can tell their people on the board to vote for this, then we should be looking at it by the middle of next year.
Okay, another question that I have. Why don't you start a petition or something and get all your riders, because I'm going to be a rider myself coming this fall because I have an internship starting. I'm in college and I have a part-time job, and it's hard to pay for $8 a day to go back and forth to Manhattan.
Okay, we've been petitioning on the buses, and we actually have a mailing list now of about 2,500 of our passengers, many of whom, many of the people here in the audience tonight are on that list, and we need all the help we can get. We're going to be doing, at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about some of the organizing efforts we're going to be engaged in over the next month or so, and we'd appreciate your help.
All right, any way I can help you, let me know.
Thank you.
Could you stay on the air for 1 second?
Sure.
When do you start your internship?
In the next week. I'm nervous.
Okay.
You're going to give out the phone number?
Well, as of next week, you're in charge of getting petitions on your bus.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
We have your phone number. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be giving out our phone number and address later on in the show for anybody who wants to stay in touch with us. I'll take another call, and then we'll go back to the audience. Hi, you're on the air.
Hi. I just wanted to commend you for your efforts, and it's unfortunate that you don't have the politicians backing you up, because we don't have the support that the Staten Islanders need to actually implement this express fare rate. And I know myself, it takes me 3 hours a day to get back and forth into the city, and time is money, especially for the politicians themselves. And unfortunately, they're not in the traffic that we are. So I just wanted to commend you for your efforts, and just keep going, and you have a lot of supporters out there, and we are all 100% behind you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I just want to mention,
you
that...
mention the ones who have signed your letter.
Yeah, I will. We have actually received the support of 7 elected officials so far in this campaign, and we're going to be showing a little bit of video later on from several of them. There are 4 elected officials on Staten Island who have yet to take a position. Well, one has taken kind of a position. That's the borough president, and it's a little confusing. But Susan, Congresswoman Molinari, and Councilman Fusco and Councilman Fasella have not taken a position. I've talked to both council members, and we're waiting to hear from Susan in terms of their position. But the elected officials who have announced their support for this plan so far on Staten Island are all